Welcome to today's deep dive. I've got to say, I've always been so curious about those Rothschild wines, you know? They just seem like they're on another level.
Oh, absolutely.
So you sent over these excerpts from Familia Rothschild, and we're
Mm.
ready to, uncork all the secrets of their wine empire.
Yeah.
So get ready to sip on some knowledge as we uncover, well, centuries of history and business genius, and maybe even a little dash of art.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting is that the Rothschilds didn't actually start with vineyards at all.
Really?
Their story, it actually begins way back in the 18th century in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt.
Wow.
That's where Mayor Amschel Rothschild, the patriarch, he kind of set the foundation for what would become this massive financial power across Europe.
So from the Jewish ghetto to a financial dynasty, that's like a total rags to riches story, right?
Right.
But it wasn't just luck, right? What was their secret sauce?
Mayor Amschel, he was kind of a strategic mastermind. He sent each of his 5 sons to establish banks in like all the major European cities, Vienna, London, Naples, Paris, you name it. And they weren't just like financiers, they became masters of networking and information control. It's kind of crazy to think about, having your finger on the pulse of all those European economies back then.
It really is like something out of a history book, but with a financial thriller twist.
Okay.
So how did this family of financial titans get into wine? Was it just a hobby for the rich and famous?
More than just a hobby.
Okay.
It all really started officially, I guess you could say, in 1868 when Baron James de Rothschild acquired Château Lafite Rothschild.
Oh, wow.
And here's the thing, it's a premier Grand Cru Classé.
Okay, wait. Premier Grand Cru Classé. For those of us who are not wine connoisseurs, what does that even mean?
Think of it as like the Olympics of wine.
Okay.
Premier Grand Cru Classé is like the gold medal.
Uh-huh.
It's the top tier in Bordeaux wine classifications.
Oh, wow.
So it signifies the absolute best, the quality of the soil, the history of the estate, and like the consistent excellence of the wines that are produced there.
So Baron James wasn't just buying a vineyard. He was buying, a piece of winemaking history.
Exactly.
He must have felt the pressure to, live up to that legacy.
He did, and he didn't disappoint. The Rothschilds, they really poured their resources and their passion into Lafite, investing in, research and cutting-edge technology and refining their winemaking techniques.
Right.
But they also understood the importance of something called terroir.
Okay.
It's those unique environmental factors that, influence the grapes.
Uh-huh.
So think of it like, a recipe where the ingredients are the soil, the climate, the sunshine, all of that coming together to create a wine with a distinct personality.
It's like a blend of science and art, really. I've read that some of Lafite's vintages, like the 45, the 59, and the 82, are legendary. They go for, insane prices at auctions. What makes those years so special? Was it just good weather or something more?
It was a combination of factors, definitely.
Okay.
For example, 1945 was the year of resilience. The war had just ended, so there was this feeling of hope and renewal in the air. And you combine that with a really hot summer that year, which led to perfectly ripe grapes, and, well, you've got the makings of a really exceptional vintage.
So it's like tasting history in a bottle. That's incredible. But the book also mentions another premier Grand Cru Classé owned by the Rothschilds, Chateau Mouton Rothschild. Is there, a similar story there?
Mouton Rothschild has its own fascinating tale, absolutely.
Okay.
This is where we meet Baron Philippe de Rothschild, a man who inherited the estate in the 1920s and completely revolutionized it. He had this incredible innovative spirit and a deep love for the arts.
Arts? You mean like paintings and sculptures?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with wine?
Well, Baron Philippe, he had this really bold idea. He decided to commission original artwork for each vintage's label. Yeah, he brought in all these iconic artists like Picasso, Dali, even Warhol to create unique pieces for his bottles.
You're kidding.
No, I mean, can you imagine having a Picasso on your wine label?
That's amazing. That's genius marketing. It's like
Yep.
each bottle became a collector's item, like a fusion of wine and art.
Exactly.
So we've covered Lafite and Mouton, both legendary estates in their own right.
Yeah.
But their wine empire didn't stop at the borders of Bordeaux, did it?
No, not at all. The Rothschilds, their ambition extended far beyond Bordeaux. They had their sights set on creating a truly global wine empire.
Okay, so we're about to embark on a global wine adventure.
We are.
But first, let's take a little break, let all this information sink in, and when we come back, we'll explore the Rothschilds' ventures beyond Bordeaux and see how they've woven their legacy into vineyards all over the world. All right, we're back and we're talking about the Rothschilds' incredible journey from like financial masters to winemaking giants.
Hmm.
And their story is already so fascinating. But now we're going beyond Bordeaux
Yeah.
to see how they created this truly global wine empire. So where are we headed first on this wine-soaked adventure?
Well, let's start with a trip to the sunny Languedoc-Roussillon region of France.
Okay.
This is where you'll find Domaine de Bernarc.
Uh-huh.
It's a Rothschild estate that really showcases the diversity and the richness of this often kind of overlooked wine region.
Languedoc-Roussillon, it's a bit different from Bordeaux, right? What
Right.
sets it apart?
You're right. It has this wonderful Mediterranean climate, warm sunshine, cooling sea breezes, and the soils are incredibly diverse.
Oh.
It's like a giant playground for grape varieties,
Oh.
and allows winemakers to experiment with different blends and styles.
So what kind of wines are the Rothschilds producing at Bernarc's?
Think blends.
Okay.
For whites, they're working with Chardonnay and Chenin Blanc, and for reds, you'll find a mix of Syrah, Grenache, and Mourvedre.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
The book Familia Rothschild describes the wines as having this, like, really lovely balance of fruitiness and spice and minerality, a true reflection of the region's terroir.
It sounds like a whole symphony of flavors. Okay, next stop on our world tour, South Africa.
Yes, we're heading to the stunning Stellenbosch region.
Okay.
This is home to Rupert and Rothschild vignerons. It's this fascinating partnership between the Rothschilds and the Rupert family, a prominent South African dynasty, really, with a deep connection to the land.
Stellenbosch, that's known for like its beautiful scenery, right? Like vineyards as far as the eye can see, mountains in the background.
It's breathtaking, really.
Yeah.
Rolling hills covered in vines, perfect combination of sunshine and cool ocean air, and those majestic mountains.
Wow.
It's an ideal setting for producing, world-class wines.
And what's like their signature wine from this estate?
Cabernet Sauvignon, definitely.
Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, for those of us who are, still learning about wine, what does that taste like?
Imagine blackcurrant, cedar, maybe a hint of tobacco and spice.
Okay.
It's a full-bodied, complex wine that can age beautifully. At Rupert and Rothschild, they often blend it with Merlot and Cabernet Franc. Really adds layers of flavor and complexity.
That's nice. So it's like this perfect blend of power and elegance. Okay, last but not least on our whirlwind tour, we're heading to Chile, right? To Los Vascos.
Exactly.
Okay.
Los Vascos is nestled in the heart of the Colchagua Valley. It's known for its warm, dry climate and fertile soils.
Okay.
It's almost like a winemaker's paradise.
Uh-huh.
Perfect conditions for growing bold, flavorful grapes.
And the Rothschilds saw the potential of this region back in the 80s. They were ahead of the curve.
They have a knack for spotting exceptional terroirs, and Colchagua Valley was no exception.
Right.
Their flagship wines here are Cabernet Sauvignon and Carmenere. It's a grape that's almost exclusive to Chile.
Carmenere, I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
No.
What should I expect if I try it?
Think deep red fruit flavors, like plum and blackberry, with hints of spice, chocolate, even a touch of green pepper.
Oh, interesting.
It's a really unique and delicious grape, and Los Vascos is producing some, stellar examples.
Wow. So we've journeyed from the rolling hills of Languedoc-Roussillon to the majestic mountains of Stellenbosch, and now the, sun-drenched vineyards of Colchagua Valley. It's just incredible to see how the Rothschilds have brought their winemaking expertise to such, diverse corners of the world. But is there a common thread, that connects all of these estates, something that makes them distinctly Rothschild?
Oh, absolutely. No matter where they are in the world, the Rothschilds are committed to quality, innovation, and sustainability.
Okay.
They really embrace technology and scientific advancements to refine their winemaking techniques, but they never forget the importance of respecting the land and the traditions of each region.
It's like they're blending, the best of the old world and the new world. Tradition meets innovation. And it's not just about the wine itself, is it? I remember reading about their efforts in, environmental conservation and community engagement.
You're absolutely right. The Rothschilds understand that sustainability isn't just a trend. It's essential for the future of winemaking.
Yeah.
They've implemented practices like using renewable energy sources, promoting biodiversity, and minimizing their environmental footprint.
Wow.
They also invest in the communities where their estates are located, supporting social and educational programs. It's a holistic approach that considers the well-being of the planet and the people who, make their wine possible.
That's so important, especially in an industry that's so closely tied to the land. It sounds like the Rothschilds are setting like a new standard for what it means to be, a responsible wine producer.
Hmm.
But let's be honest, most of us aren't wine experts. We might feel a little intimidated walking into a store with all those bottles staring back at us.
Right? Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who, wants to explore the world of Rothschild wines, but they don't even know where to begin?
That's a great question. First, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay.
A good wine shop or sommelier can really guide you based on your preferences. Second, remember that wine tasting is a journey, not a destination. Don't overthink it. Start with a few key things to look for, and you'll be surprised how quickly your palate develops.
Okay, so let's do a little wine tasting 101. What are the basics that everyone should know?
It's simpler than you think. Start by looking at the wine, its color, its clarity, then swirl it in your glass and take a deep breath.
Okay.
What aromas do you detect? And finally, take a sip and savor it. What flavors stand out? Is it fruity, spicy, earthy? How does it feel on your tongue? Is it light and crisp or full-bodied and rich?
So it's about engaging all your senses. Any pairing suggestions for Rothschild wines? I'm always a little bit lost when it comes to, matching wine with food.
Here are a few simple guidelines.
Okay.
Robust reds, like those from Lafite or Mouton, pair well with red meats, hearty dishes, and aged cheeses.
Okay.
Imagine a perfectly grilled steak with a glass of Mouton Rothschild. It's a classic pairing for a reason,
Ooh, that sounds good.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about lighter reds?
Lighter reds like those from Los Vascos are delicious with poultry, pasta, and milder cheeses. Think roasted chicken with a Pinot Noir from Los Vascos, a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And when it comes to white wines, it really depends on the style. But in general, whites are great with seafood, salads, poultry, and a variety of cheeses.
This is also helpful. It feels less intimidating now. I can actually enjoy a bottle of Rothschild wine without feeling like I need a degree in enology or something.
Right, yeah. That's the spirit. Wine is meant to be enjoyed, not overanalyzed. The most important thing is to find what you like and savor the experience.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey so far.
Yeah.
We've uncovered the secrets of the Rothschild family's rise to power, we've explored their legendary Bordeaux estates, and we've taken this whirlwind tour of their global wine empire.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. But we're not done yet. When we come back, we'll wrap up with some key takeaways and leave you with a final thought that'll have you pondering the future of this remarkable family and their impact on the world of wine.
And we're back for our final sip of knowledge in our deep dive into the world of Rothschild wines.
It's really remarkable, this whole journey from a small start in Frankfurt's Jewish ghetto to this global wine empire. I mean, it's like this perfect blend of history and business savvy and just a passion for creating something exceptional.
It really makes you wonder, what is it about the Rothschild name that makes their wines so sought after? Is it just a prestige, or is there something more to it?
That is a great question. I mean, they could have just rested on their laurels with Château Lafite Rothschild, That name alone carries so much weight in the wine world.
Absolutely.
But they've gone so far beyond that, exploring new terroirs, pushing the boundaries of winemaking, creating a legacy that spans, generations and continents.
Their story really is a testament to their relentless pursuit of excellence. They've embraced new technologies, partnered with other visionaries, and are constantly seeking ways to improve their craft. But it goes beyond just business acumen,
Yeah.
There's this deep respect for tradition, for the land, for the people who actually make their wines possible.
It's like they've struck this perfect balance between honoring the past and embracing the future.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just making wine, they're shaping the entire industry.
Absolutely. They've set such a high bar for sustainability, for ethical practices, and just creating wines that aren't only delicious, but they reflect a sense of place and purpose.
So what does all of this mean for, our listener? Why should they care about the Rothschild wine empire?
It's more than just a name on a bottle. It's a story of ambition and innovation and this dedication to creating something extraordinary.
Yeah.
And their wines, from the legendary Château Lafite Rothschild to the bold Carmenères of Los Vascos, are like a tangible representation of that legacy.
It's like holding history in your hands, tasting the passion and the expertise that has gone into each bottle.
Each sip tells a story, really, of the land, the climate, the people,
Yeah.
the generations of winemakers that have shaped the Rothschild name.
So to wrap up our deep dive, what's the one thing you'd want our listener to take away from all of this? Like, what's the essence of the Rothschild wine experience?
I think it's about the pursuit of excellence in every aspect of winemaking. It's about the harmonious blend of tradition and innovation. And ultimately, it's about, creating wines that transcend the ordinary
Yeah.
and elevate the experience of enjoying a glass of wine to something really special.
Now that you've had a taste of the Rothschild wine world, why not embark on your own exploration? Pick up a bottle that intrigues you, whether it's a classic Bordeaux from Lafite or a vibrant Carmenere from Chile.
Let your curiosity guide you. Explore the different terroirs, savor the flavors, and discover the stories that each Rothschild wine has to tell. Who knows, you might just uncover your own favorite chapter in their ever-evolving wine legacy.
Cheers to that, and thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the Rothschild wine empire. We hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we have.